Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this reaction video to the new Netflix documentary, Mr. McMahon, chronicling the rise and fall of WWE's controversial founder. It's going to premiere on September 25th and I am so excited for this. I have seen this trailer once. It was so good, I knew we had to do this video. So what we'll do is we'll play it and then we'll just kind of pause and talk about the bits that we've seen because there is so much in here. We have spoken about this during our live streams because, of course, we do live watch-alongs for Raw, NXT, SmackDown, the premium live events. And during those, we've been talking about how this is going to be a 6-part series from what I understand. And it is going to, I think, chronicle the history of WWE. Obviously, Vince's history is WWE's history, and we're going to talk about key moments in the history of WWE, and that does actually show itself in this trailer. So it's got interviews with Vince prior to his resignation, and some of the most iconic names in wrestling, from Chris Smith, the executive producer of Tiger King, which was massive. If you remember Lockdown, Tiger King was so big. Everyone was talking about it. And Bill Simmons as well. So let's get to it, shall we? This is just over 2 minutes long. We are going to keep pausing it. It's been viewed 1.3 million times. So there's a lot of interest in this. Let's have a look. Let's look at the tone of it. Let's look at what's discussed. We're going to keep stopping as we work our way through.
People have wondered who I really am. You know, portrayals me I'm a bad guy. But no one really knows me.
In the world of professional wrestling,
Vince McMahon.
he's easy to hate. What you expect,
I don't fight fair.
that's exactly what you're going to get.
Wow. I mean, already, how 20 odd seconds in. So Vince saying no one really knows me. And I do think there is a point to that, actually, that he's obviously lots of different people. Like his husband, he's a father, he's a grandfather, but he's also a boss, and he's also an on-screen personality. He's got all these different facets to his character, and so I don't think we ever get to see the fully well-rounded individual that is Vince McMahon. We've got an image of what he's like in our heads, but yeah, I could understand him saying no one really knows me. Or certainly the people watching at home, you know, they know the Mr. McMahon character. They know what they see on TV, but they don't know me when I'm at home, behind the scenes. And yeah, some big names. I mean, you know, you're seeing Hogan, you're seeing The Rock. I mean, there's some big names within the first 20 seconds, kind of letting you know just like how high profile this documentary is going to be. So yeah, and also the bit where he says, I don't play fair. No one really knows me. He says, I don't fight fair, which is so true. If you think about the things that he's done in the past, you know, he's famously said that he knows that his dad would never have sold him WWE because that's how he got it. He bought it from his dad, and he said that he knows his dad would never have sold him WWE if he knew that he was going to expand outside of like the Northeast, because when he bought it in the early 80s it was just in the Northeast, but obviously he had plans to not only take over America but take over the world, and that really goes against how wrestling was being run back in the day. Like, you had all these territories. And, you know, he was like, no, I'm going to take everyone's best talent and I'm going to take over the world. So, yeah. And there was even, I know we're spending too long on this, but there was even a conversation where the other wrestling promoters were overheard in some toilets at this event, this meetup. They were overheard talking about killing Vince McMahon because he was such a threat to them, which was true. I mean, he was. A lot of them ended up going out of business. So when he says, I don't fight fair, that's kind of understatement of the year, to be honest.
That's exactly what you're going to get.
It's not my fault that I happen to be a self-made billionaire!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to All American Wrestling.
When I bought my dad's business, my vision was to make this mainstream.
Welcome to Wrestlemania.
Vince created this huge empire.
Billion-dollar entertainment juggernaut.
He did things no one thought were possible.
Right, let's pause again. Right, how long? 43 seconds in. So I think, you know, we've gone all the way back to welcome to WrestleMania, you know, the birth of WrestleMania, which is so important, not only to the history of WWE, but to the history of professional wrestling. So WrestleMania being born in 85 is only a few years after Vince gets a hold of WWE. And that really is the marker. That's what everything was building towards. He went all out. Famously, he said that if WrestleMania 1 did not work, that could be it for the business. Like, it was literally an all-in situation. And so they went big, and it worked. And then, of course, we ended up getting WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3, blah, blah, blah. And next year will be, of course, WrestleMania 41. So amazing. So, yeah, I mean, here we're kind of showing clips of Vince from WWE TV, and we are looking as well at the start of WrestleMania. Obviously, there's going to be other scandals and milestones as we work our way up to the present day that we're going to be looking at.
Everything he did turned to gold.
There were so many scandals going on.
On trial for steroids.
90% of the wrestlers are on steroids.
Another dead
Okay, well, a couple of things here. So we've just touched on steroids, and we're touching on Chris Benoit, right? So steroids, massive. I mean, it changed the company. You're talking about 92, kind of early 90s. And really before that point, you had Hogan, you had Warrior, you had the British Bulldog, you had Warlord. Like, everyone was big. They were jacked. That's what WWF was selling. They were selling these larger-than-life personalities, right? And the bodies matched it as well, you know, ravishing Rick Rude. It was just, everyone was big, and it was steroids, which I don't think Vince was supplying, but he was aware, surely, that it was going on. I mean, you just don't get to that kind of size without taking something that you shouldn't be taking. And so there was this allegation that Vince was supplying them to the wrestlers. They were illegal, of course. And so the government started looking into it. He ended up going to court. It looked like he was going to face jail time. There was plans in place in case he was found guilty. Like, massive. Steroid trial changes WWF in the early 90s. Because after that, guys aren't as big anymore. They're not, you know, they're not these big jacked guys. They're your Bret Harts, they're your Shawn Michaels, or they're quite tall like Diesel, or they're fat like Yokozuna. But they're not these massively jacked guys anymore. In fact, famously, when Hogan came back after the steroid trial, people were really concerned because he'd lost a lot of muscle mass, and it's because he was having to be clean now. Benoit, of course, I mean, it's one of the greatest tragedies, and we won't go too deep into that, of course, but I think it's right that it's in this documentary. I think that this documentary should have everything in it. I think if we're going to go back and we're going to look at really Vince taking this company over, and then the key moments, well, throughout the history, this is absolutely a key moment. And hearing, maybe, I don't know if Vince is going to talk on it, but hearing Vince talk on it will be fascinating. I mean, you can't just skip this stuff, really. You know, World War II is taught in schools. And so I feel like if you're going to do a documentary that's going to focus on the history of WWE, and as I said, I believe this to be a 6-part documentary, can't skip over this. There's things that you're just not going to be able to skip over, and this would be one of them.
Wrestling just rocked the very foundation of the WWE.
I would accept no responsibility whatsoever.
None whatsoever. They live this lifestyle.
Breaking news, Vince McMahon is stepping aside.
So I think this is a trailer, so they've given you like the juicier bits, right? I mean, I don't think we're going to go straight from Benoit to Vince stepping aside. I mean, you're really going from like mid 2000s, like, and skipping all the way to 2022. So, like, yeah, this is a hell of a jump. But I think there'll be other things. I mean, we've got to talk about the launch of the WWE Network in 2014. That's massive. That's a massive moment. And obviously, you can touch on like storyline parts. I don't know that we're going to touch on storyline parts too much. You know, things like, I don't know, the end of Undertaker's streak, stuff like that. The rise of and popularity of John Cena we might touch on. Maybe the rise of Roman. The pandemic, certainly, because of the challenges that presented. But yeah, I think this is going to be more to do with the scandals, if you will. This is going to be the stuff that affects the business, like, and those like steroid trial and the network coming along and the pandemic. Those are the kind of things that I think we're going to be touching on. So yeah, to kind of go from Benoit to modern day is a bit of a jump. I think there'll be quite a bit in between when we get to the actual show.
The lawsuit accusing him of countless depraved and humiliating acts.
I didn't think the lawsuit could shock me, and I was floored.
The lawsuit is horrific, actually. I know that many of you will have like seen the filing, very detailed. I think it's like 60 odd pages long. It's got text messages in there, and it is shocking stuff. So we haven't even really got to that in real life. We've seen the filing, but we haven't actually got to any kind of case. Vince has said that he looks forward to proving his innocence on this. The court of public opinion has already found him guilty. And I mean, like, for me, I'm just waiting to watch it all play out. I mean, it does not look good. It does not look good. There's no escaping that. But yeah, I'm waiting to see kind of, you know, Vince says that he's looking forward to proving himself innocent. I'm looking forward to seeing him trying to do that, because that's going to be a mountain for him to climb. That is going to be a real mountain.
When it comes to Vince, a lot of that is a character. He's going to show you what he wants you to see. The lines of reality are very blurred in our business. The individual loses all sense of who they really are.
It's funny, actually, because I don't know that he's talking about himself there when he says lines of reality are blurred and the individual sort of loses who they are. I get the feeling he's talking about other people in that moment, but the way that it comes across in this trailer is that he's talking about himself. He portrayed this evil boss, and you know, he was only known to us as being like super evil, and obviously now we're finding out all this stuff, the lawsuits and the things that he's alleged to have done. So him saying that line really feels like it fits him as well, but I don't actually know that he's talking about himself there. Wouldn't shock me if it turns out that that is, you know, I don't know, something to do with Hogan or someone else, you know.
My name is not Vince. My name is Mr. McMahon.
Amazing. It's everything I thought it was going to be. I suppose the one thing that I'm looking for, it's going to be lovely to have everything in one place. It's going to be lovely to hear Vince's side on these things. There's people out there that are like not going to watch this because they just, you know, can't stand Vince and what he's alleged to have done, and for them this is just a no-go area. For me, as someone that loves the history of WWE, and there is, like, you could argue no one more important to that history than Vince, this is absolutely unmissable. This is unmissable. To hear it, we don't get many Vince interviews, so to hear him talk about like these topics, to see that footage of what was recorded, and don't forget this was all recorded before the stuff came out, because this documentary has been in the works for a long time. I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. I have the ability to learn and to discover and not like worry about that this is Vince and he's, you know, guilty or potentially guilty of these terrible allegations. Like that, I can put that to one side and I can just watch this and learn and hopefully discover some stuff that I didn't know. A lot of the stuff around Benoit, of course, is documented, and there's been many videos made on that. Same as the steroid trial, right? Same as the birth of Wrestlemania. I'm sure we'll touch on the Montreal screw job. We're kind of going to have to, because that was the birth of the Mr. McMahon character. So I'm sure we're going to touch on all of those things. I hope we do that, but I hope we don't spend too long on them, because those are very well documented. It's going to be lovely to have it all in one place, but I am looking to learn some other stuff. Maybe some matches that were going to happen that ended up getting scrapped. Maybe some people that we were really going to get behind that we didn't. You know, there's rumors that had he not have been able to get Hulk Hogan, it would have been Dusty Rhodes that would have been the guy. He would have gone for Dusty because he really wanted that kind of American like baby face, and so Dusty Rhodes could have been that guy. But he got Hogan. He wanted Hogan, and he got Hogan. But I don't know if we'll touch on what would have happened if he had not got Hogan, you know. Will he touch on The Undertaker? Will he touch on who he regards as his greatest superstar? Will he touch on what he regards as the best match or matches that he ever saw? You know, that kind of stuff I think would be fascinating to find out. So it's very hard to know what we're going to get from this. I think, well, we know that we're going to get those big key talking points, but those additional things, what are we going to get from this? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. So there we go. That was the trailer. We will be, I don't know what we're going to be doing. I don't think we'll be doing watch-alongs for them. There'll certainly be content on the channel, though. Probably, like, each episode we'll end up doing some sort of breakdown of what's just happened. So, yeah, cannot wait for this. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this extra video, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.